Welcome to the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak. And we're starting a little early today. We got the Breeders' Cup, the first of 2 days of Breeders' Cup action that you can watch and wager on here. We got a 10-race card this afternoon. We're starting the day with a fast main track and a firm turf course. And we do have some carryovers today in the Rainbow Six. A carryover in the Rainbow Six. Starts in race number 5 with a 10-race card. $5,500. I did not hit it yesterday. A couple of horses were alive going into the last 4, actually. Did not nail it. The 5-horse won that race, so we're starting anew. And Katie, Breeders' Cup action a little later on this afternoon.
Yeah, we're a ways away from Keeneland, but there is an excitement in the air today. Just a great 2 days ahead for the entire sport, and can't wait to cheer on all of these horses, especially the ones representing us here in South Florida.
And lots of great things going on, of course, down at our sister track at Gulfstream Park. If you go today or tomorrow, I believe you get free T-shirts. Lots of things going on there. If you want to watch the live racing, you got to join Katie and I right here at Gulfstream Park West. Before we delve into this card, one of the sad stories about that, you're not going to get this horse, see this horse race, and that is Beholder in the Classic.
We are not going to get to see Beholder. We're going to take a look at this tweet, and I thought this was great. Richard Mandela always does what's right for his horses, and he did this in the case of Scratching Beholder. She did not scope well coming back from a work yesterday, so they have elected not to run her. But you know what? They did right by the horse, and ultimately that is what comes first in this sport.
Well, I don't know how much help American Pharaoh needed, but certainly going to be an easier chance for him to win the Classic tomorrow, and he's looking beautiful. He's there at Keeneland, and we're going to show you a tweet now of him. And, you've seen 1,000 pictures of him, good-looking horse that you see him. And I like what they said, a picture is worth 140 characters.
On Twitter it is, and I thought this was just a gorgeous photo. And American Pharaoh's odds have plummeted with the Scratch of Beholder, because not only does it remove a top contender in the race, but it now sets American Pharaoh better tactically for this race.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this one is certainly he's the one. He was the one to beat going in, but the Beholder, a very, very good horse who had made for an exciting race. And one more thing, a horse coming back to action pretty soon, and that is Shared Belief, actually going back to the track on Tuesday.
Yeah, he was beaten for the first time in last year's Classic. We won't see him this year. He's coming back from an injury, but exciting news, post-Breeders' Cup news. He is going to return to training at Golden Gate Fields. He's going to join trainer Jerry Hollendorfer, and I am so excited to see this horse back in action. You know, someone also tweeted this yesterday to maybe get excited about. It's disappointing not to have Beholder in the Classic, but maybe seeing a race next year on the West Coast with California Chrome, Beholder, and Shared Belief. I could get excited about that.
Yeah, and you see that with the tweet was from Jim Rome, a co-owner of this horse here, Shared Belief. And I always love when I see that, because he used to hate horse racing till he got Shared Belief. I always got to mention that. So
just takes one horse.
That's it to turn him around. So that is what's tweeting around the country. As we mentioned, got lots of great fun this whole weekend long. We got some of the Breeders' Cup races this afternoon. Of course, tomorrow we're starting with an 11:55 post, and we got the main full body of the Breeders' Cup races tomorrow afternoon, along with our pretty nice card. We got 2 stakes tomorrow. We'll tell you about those later on that are fantastic. They look like winter stakes at the championship meet. So now we'll get into the first race. As I mentioned, this turf course is firm. It's 7.5 furlongs claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, 30,000 down to 25,000. Jockey change on the 1 in here, and it's Edgard Zayas, and scratch the number 6, Angel of Love. And Katie, you started with the logical choice in here, I believe, and that is the number 4 horse in here, Odachi. Not by what the early board says, but number 4, Odachi, on paper, looks like the one to beat.
Yeah, I really like this horse, but she is going to have to overcome a bias that we've seen on the turf course, and that speed has not been holding. In her past few races, she's taken the lead into the stretch and been narrowly beaten. But I just think her numbers are far superior to anybody else in here, and maybe she can overcome that bias like we have seen with horses like Dreamin' Up Clarice, who's already been able to go wire to wire here twice.
Yeah, number 7, Starship Sassy, sitting up there right now at 6-1. I've been waiting for this horse to come back. Was my best bet a couple of weeks ago when they scratched him out of the race, and I'm going to go right back there today, stepping up, turning back, returned from a 2-month freshening. Had an unbelievably rough trip that day. Could not find a place to run. Was stuck behind a wall of horses. Lacked racing room, and he was only beaten 3/4 of a length. Diane Marici's the trainer. Luca Panici in the saddle. Last time this horse was going to run was not at this level. Was a little lower, and I really liked it that day. Stepping up today, so a little bit of a chance in here. But I got to give this horse one more chance because I just watched that race. This horse never got a chance to win, and not only did he not have a chance to run, it looked like he was going to win that race if he had gotten through. So she gotten through. So number 7, Starship Sassy on top of my ticket. And you used that horse in your ticket. I'm glad to see that. And we both used number 5, and that is St. Abbey.
This one, a daughter of Shakespeare, going to make her Gulfstream Park West debut for trainer Jane Sibeli. Stretched out for the first time in more than a year and a half. In her last start, that was at Monmouth on September 19th. Produced a mild rally that day to get up for third. I like her because she's competed with a lot tougher, but she was off the board in her 2 previous starts at the distance, so that's why I couldn't put her any higher than third.
Well, let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. We're going to a fast main track. It's a 6-furlong claimer, fillies and mares 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $12,500, and we do have a jockey change to report in here, and it comes on number 6, Make the Rider, Emisial Jaramillo. And Katie, you went with a horse, and I went back and looked at this horse, and I have to admit I might have missed this one, and that's the one, Cherry's Win.
Well, this one from the Rohan Cretan barn, I really like what she did when she followed up her maiden breaking victory on October 1st with a really respectable third-place effort against $25,000 claimers here on October 21st. It was just her second start in 11 months, never off the board at this distance. I think she finds an excellent spot today. Now she has more experience against winners, actually dropping in class. I think it really sets up well for her.
Yeah, I went with the number 4 in here, was enamored with that one's maiden victory, but I might have just bypassed this one. I don't know what I was thinking in there. I'll add it back on my Super High 5 ticket or something like that. Well, that's Super High 5 ticket, but I'm going to talk about the number 4, Sweet Hall, who's stepping up to the next logical level after returning to the Giuseppe Iacidernia barn and demolishing a field of $10,000 maidens here. Won that race by 8.5 lengths. There's total upside here. I like this barn. And number 4, Sweet Hall, on my ticket, along with Katie has it on the ticket. And then I used the 6 and second, Full Moon's Mass, turning back to a sprint distance. Broke from the rail last time out. Duel for the lead. Faded from her earlier efforts in that race. She finished 5th against Simler, going 2-turn mile. And I think you have a logical horse in second here, or I have it on the board 2 and 3rd, and that is Media Rules.
Yeah, this one returned from a year-long layoff of her own. Also has had a little bit of time off like Sherry's Win. Finished 5th against $20,000 claimers on October 2nd. Should be fit her second start off the layoff. And again, getting class relief. I think she fits in well with this group.
Well, certainly get a price there if Sherry's Win should not win. Cherries. 3rd race this afternoon, 5.5 furlong claimers. These are 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. We do have a scratch in here of number 3, El Kraken. Boy, a horse on the morning line was 3 to 5. Looks even better now with the scratch of number 3, El Kraken, and that is number 1, Voter Turnout, who we both have on our ticket. Turning back to 5.5. Going to wear blinkers today after just getting edged at the wire. Its local debut against Simler, that was going 3/4 of a mile. Jenna Antonucci, Edgar Zayas, inside post. Look at the past performances here. Certainly jumps off the page at you.
Yeah, and has run with blinkers many times before, has done it successfully. He can only run well with them today, especially on the turn back. He is really set up well on paper for this race.
Well, number 4 in here is he did it his way. He's turning back to his his best distance thus far after closing from 15 lengths off the face to finish second at odds of 17 to 1. I do not have the 3. I thought I sent the change up there. I have 1, 4, and 5. Maybe I forgot to send the change up there. So make mine 1, 4, and 5. And number 5, Riley and Jack, turning back today.
Yeah, turning back quickly. Just 6 days rest for the Tamara Levy trainee. Dueled on the lead between horses. Faded to 4th in the stretch here on October 24th. But I think the turn back and distance should suit him well. And the barn really doing well as of late.
My selections, once again, 1, 4, and 5 in race number 3 because the third 3 is scratched. 4th race this afternoon, 7.5 furlongs on the turf. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or a race in 6 months. That's April 30th, or 3-year-olds, $30,000 down to $25,000. The conditions take up almost the whole page in here, and I went with the number 8, Ramble, in here, but you could start it off with number 3, Kaizuna.
Well, Ramble is a Monmouth shipper. I went to another Monmouth shipper, and that is the 3 Kazuna from the Jane Savelli barn. Drops out of allowance competition for this race. Last time out, stalked the pace, gamely fought on to be second, only beat in a half length in a $20,000 optional claimer on September 19th. I think she fits the conditions of this race perfectly because her last race came in February. These are for non-winners of a race since April 30th, and training very forwardly, and she gets to train over the turf course up at Palm Meadows, turning a bullet half-mile move over that surface. Went 48-3 on October 7th.
I went with the old key race angle in here with the number 8, and that is Ramble, making her local turf debut. The first start since finishing second. She was only beaten ahead, and that is in front of a trio of next out winners. That was a key $30,000 3 lifetime claimer going a mile on the Monmouth turf. The trainer is Bobby DeBona, and he's got Eddie Castro named to ride. 3 horses come out of the race, and when this one finished in front of them, I had to go with number 8, Ramble on top. Kazuna for all the reasons you mentioned. And we had used the number 7, JL's Prince in second, scratched out of yesterday for this spot today. We'll try these condition claimers.
And I think she finds a better spot today. I think she's much better. I would not have used her in yesterday's race had she been in it, but I will use her here and have her in second for the Dave Casson barn. 38% at this race meet so far, having an excellent meet. Send out this daughter of Smarty Jones today. Gets a similar class drop after the mare returned from a 9-month layoff to finish 5th against $25,000 optional claimers. That was at Gulfstream on September 13th. But prior to the layoff, she won 3 in a row. Should be fitter today, and I think finds an excellent spot.
Well, let's go to race number 5, and this is where the Rainbow Six starts today with our 10-race card. Over $5,000 in that pool, and this is 7 furlongs, maiden claiming 2-year-olds. They're running for $12,500. We're going to have 9 runners in here with no scratches or jockey changes, so we will have one of the rolling super high fives in this race. And you went with the number 1 horse in here, and that's Up with the Sun.
Yeah, I like this one. Looking at Lucky Colt, dueled by 3 wide, tired to 5th in his last race for Marcus Vitale. Talk about a barn that's been doing well at this race meet. It was his first time ever racing beyond 3/4 of a mile. Stays at this distance today, but on paper it appears as he might be the only horse with even a hint of speed in this race. I think he could coast here, and I just took a speed play in this race.
Number 9, Garava, who I have on top of my ticket, is dropping to this $12,500 level, turning back to 7/8 of a mile today after responding last time out to both the addition of Lasix and the blinkers when an improved 4th place finish. That was against $16,000 maidens. That was going a mile and 70 yards. All of that added together made me put this horse on top of the ticket, and I see you have it in second. And the other horse we both used on the ticket is number 2, Grand Tupi.
Yeah, this one I thought ran a very solid second in his debut at this distance on October 15th. Certainly with a shot here, but my concern was making his 3rd start in as many weeks today.
Yeah, you ran okay at the distance is why I put him in there on my ticket. Let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. We're back on the turf. The turf course is listed as firm. 1 mile and 1/16. Maiden claim is 3 and up, $20,000. Scratch the number 5 in here, Pasta Giovanni. I want to go back and show you a performance that Katie has on her ticket. I did not use this horse, and that is number 2, Major Anthem. So I'm interested to see this trouble call that you picked out.
Yeah, I put this horse in here. I have him in 3rd in this race, and I thought he was worth a shot after really had to take up in here, had nowhere to go, watch the jockey steady pretty harshly in this race. He may not have even had to steady that hard on the horse. Really took him up, but he re-rallies. Look how far back he is. He's actually going to finish 2nd in this race. Watch him come on here. You know, I was just impressed with this after to take up so much momentum. The horse on the front end is completely stopping, but he is coming on pretty well in this race. He is going to get up for 2nd, and I thought, you know what? I liked that effort, and off of that, he merits at least getting a piece of this.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing that, you'd have to go back and certainly use that one on the Super High 5 ticket, if not on your Win, Place, and Show tickets in there. I did go with the, you went with the number 11 horse who I have in second, Camerton Hall, and I went with the 4, and that is Grandpa's Indy, who's dropping to this $35,000 level, stretching out to a mile and a 16th, going to wear blinkers this afternoon. After that promising, I thought, $35,000 career debut, debut, going a mile, in which he made a middle move in that race, and he flattened out. He finished fourth. The trainer is Sandino Hernandez Jr., and he's got Eddie Castro in the saddle today. And I thought that was a pretty promising debut, and, just went up there, and I see a lot of upside on this horse. And number 4, Grandpa's Indy, up there at a pretty square price as I'm looking down at 6-1.
Oh my God, that's a fantastic value on this horse. The barn is a perfect 3 for 3 with the equipment change of adding blinkers. They've had a lot of success with it, and not only should he appreciate the new equipment, but I also think he'll appreciate the stretch out. That is a must-have, at least in your exacta ticket.
Yeah, number 11, Camerton Hall, is now a gelding. He's making his first start since breaking from an outside post.
Yeah, I'm taking a little bit of a chance with one. He has not run since March, but I think he's doing well off the layoff for David Fox. Finished third in his turf debut against $35,000 maiden claiming competition during the championship meet. So a tough meet. Debuts as a gelding today. Really boasts a consistent stamina-enhancing work pattern. So I'm going to take a shot with him off the layoff.
Well, I also used the number 8 on my ticket, but I'm certainly going to go back and look at the 2 major anthems. And this Charlie Has Heart, number 8, is stretching out to this mile and 1/16 distance after responding last time out to a drop in competition with a late closing third. That was against $20,000 maidens going a mile, so stepping up again. But I like this horse. I think he could sit a really nice trip in this race. We've mentioned over and over. Speed looked like it was a little better on the turf course yesterday. I don't know if that was just because certain horses were lone speed or just got a great trip. But this horse can sit from behind and maybe grab a share. And I don't know what Charlie Has Heart. Oh, actually, he's on the board. Actually, he's the morning. I'm talking like he might have a shot in here. He's the morning line favorite. So I guess our line maker was thinking this horse is going to come from off the pace, too.
Well, I'll be interested to see your Rainbow Six ticket later, because I have a feeling this is going to be a deeper race.
Yeah, I think so, too. Race number 7 this afternoon is a 1-mile allowance optional claimer for fillies and mares 3 and up, $16,000. Scratch the number 4 in here, done 1. And we want to go back and show you a performance that both a horse that both Katie and I have on top of our ticket, and that's the number 3, Kinsley from the Todd Pletcher barn.
I really like this effort from Kinsley. This was back from September 18th. It was a day where we had a ton of rain. It was very sloppy, and Kinsley gets fanned about 5-6 wide to finish second. Hadn't run in a little while. The horse that won had just such a clear jump on her, and I thought she rallied very well on the outside to get up for second. It was her first start in 2 months, and I think she can really build off that today.
Yeah, I just think that was basically, from coming from far back, that should set her up perfectly for a better performance today. And you saw the sloppy conditions on that day. Certainly not the case today with this fast track. The other horse that I use, and you also use, Katie, we're in agreement with our exacta, and that is the one Garden Prince is going to break from the rail today. We'll renew the rivalry with Kinsley. Yep. Tracked the pace last time out. Finished a distant third as the favorite behind her last time out. Ralph Nix, Tyler Gaffleone. It's a daughter of distorted humor, and just the connections alone, you think this horse is going to move forward. Also had to deal with those very sloppy conditions last time out.
Absolutely, and with Ralph Nix, he's gotten a lot of new horses into his shed row this year, and what I've noticed that a lot of them really move forward second start for the barn. Maybe don't always win first start for the barn. I think we've only seen about 1 or 2 of them win first start for the barn. Second time out, I really think she can improve.
Well, not with his 2-year-old first-time starts.
No, not those. Not those.
Yeah, you also used the 2 Faith Hall.
This one taking a slight step up in competition today for the Kathleen O'Connell barn, but I really just was impressed with her record at the distance and over the surface. Defeated $12,500 claiming competition on September 11th. 2 wins, 5 for 6 in the money here at Gulfstream Park West. 6 for 8 in the money with 2 wins at the distance, so I liked that reliability.
Well, who doesn't like lots of chocolate? That's the number 6 horse in here, stepping up, stretching out around 2 turns after returning from a layoff, wore blinkers, and proceeded to defeat a field of maiden special weight runners going 6 furlongs. This is a daughter of mine, Chef, has been working sharply at Arundel. That's the farm where these horses come from. The owner, of course, Arundel Farms, in preparation for this assignment. Hard to gauge those works on the farm and everything like that, but I just thought this horse was rather impressive, winning its debut, going 3/4 of a mile. Of course, going to stretch out to this 1-mile distance today.
And a nice value you're getting at 5-1.
Let's go to a race number 8, and this is 7.5 furlongs. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. $30,000 down to $20,000. Full field of 12 runners. Going to go back and show you a performance by Archer. What sort of a performance by Archer in the park?
We're going to call this a trouble call more than a performance. This is one description that you don't see too often in the form. Jumped puddle. This horse actually goes to jump the puddle. The rider sees that he takes a very bad step there and pulls him up. He's completely taken out of that race. You absolutely have to throw a line through it, and that's what I'm doing today in putting this horse on top. Last time out, his turf race was taken off the grass, moved to a sloppy main track. He's never been in the money in 3 starts on a sloppy main track, so I think he should really move forward and getting back on the turf course, especially at this level of competition. He was previously competing and holding his own in allowances and maiden special weight company, so I think a great fit today and love that he's getting back on his preferred surface.
Yeah, you know, I was going to use him, and then I backed off because he looks like his best performances come when he's up on near the lead and stuff like that, so I did not use him on the ticket, you know, as far as my top 3 selections go, but I'm certainly going to use him as the, you know, on my rolling super high 5 ticket this afternoon. But I did go with the horse that you have on your ticket on top, and that's Run Saichi. This one 4 for 9 in the money on the turf. It's going back to the grass today after returning from a layoff to finish late rallying second against similar opposition. That was a race moved, of course, from the grass to a sloppy main track, and I just thought that was a pretty nice performance last time out. The only thing I didn't like was the outside post in here, but it looks like it's not been that much of a problem with horses on the turf course here, you know, going around that turn. They have to sit a nice trip. They can't be 7 wide, but I thought the number 12, Run Saichi, has a shot on the ticket. Now, you also use the number 3, and that is Master Jordan.
Yeah, this one I thought really responded to the class relief in his last start. Dropped out of allowance company, finished 3rd, only beaten a length against $16,000 claiming competition on October 18th. He boasts a very strong 8 for 9 in the money record at the distance, and I thought his numbers just made him fit very well in this race. I really like Run Saichi, but my concern, 0 for 7 at the distance and didn't hit the board in his previous 2 tries over this turf course, but I think form-wise fits in. So again, I think you're going to have to go a little bit deeper in a race like this in the Rainbow Six.
Well, what about the 5? Better Run Real Fast, 10 to 1 in the morning line, stretching out around 2 turns, getting some class relief today after a solid campaign, sprinting on the grass against allowance level competition. This is Son of City Place, stretching out today. He is going to be a major part of the pace scenario by this time of the afternoon. You'll know how that turf course is playing. I think this horse, you know, stretching out after the bunch of sprints could be very dangerous if it was left alone on the front end. Certainly classes up nicely in the spot, and I like the 10 to 1 on the line. Another horse that I use, Katie, we mentioned the horse that you use in there, and that's 2 Fox Chase. Solid maiden winner on the turf, was back in September, goes back to the grass after making that middle mood and fading. He was 5th behind Run Saichi. That was that rained out affair you were talking about last time out. He's a late striding type, can benefit from the recent what we see is a sort of stalk closer bias on this turf course.
Well, we've given you 5 horses in this race. It's a big 12-horse field, so you still have quite a few more to choose from. But again, lesson here, go deep. If you can go all, please do so, but that is quite a few to go all with.
Well, you mentioned 5 horses in here, and that's exactly what you need in a rolling super high 5. So we made it easy for you there. Just box off 5 horses up there, and maybe you'll win it. Who knows?
Good to go.
Race number 9 this afternoon, 6 furlongs, allowance optional claimer. These are state-bred 3-year-olds and up. They're going to run for a $12,000, $5,000 tag. I went with the number 8 in here, Holy Highway. It was turning back to 3/4 of a mile after setting the pace, weakening late to finish 3rd behind multiple stakes placed horse, Grand Shores, and a really hard-knocking horse called Old Time Sake. That was going 7/8 of a mile. I think this horse gets flattered by running with those horses and put this one right on top of my ticket up there. What is he? 8 to 1 on the line. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, that's a great value, and he will definitely be on my super high 5 ticket here. I just don't love him at this distance. I think he's going better at 7/8 of a mile or longer, but does fit in well with this company. I went with the 5 Rosterant that you have in second. This one seeks back-to-back victories, sweeped the turn 5 wide, drew off by a visually impressive 2 3/4 lengths against $30,000 claiming competition. That was back on September 17th at Gulfstream. I think he's run very, very well since dropping from a pair of $62,000 optional claimers. Tyler Gaffleone keeps the mount. I really like this horse in this spot.
I don't know if you remember that comedian, the guy that I get no respect, you know, always saying that, and that's what the one horse in here gets, no respect, and that is Donegal Hall. This one is cutting back to 3/4 of a mile after dueling for the lead and weakening late late to finish 5th behind aforementioned Grand Shores, going 7 furlongs last time out. But look at his past performance. He's been competitive with better at double digits odds and run well in 3 consecutive races. He's always ignored. He's the Rodney Dangerfield of this group. So we'll see how number 1 Donegal Hall. I think this horse could be sneaky at 12-1.
I used this horse last time. He disappointed me a little bit, so I couldn't go with him today, but he has run well at huge odds, and I wouldn't count him out.
Let's go to race number 10 this afternoon, a mile on the turf. Claimers, 2-year-olds, 35 grand. Jockey on the 6 is Amicia Jaramillo. Jockey on the number 9, make it Jose A. Garcia. Scratch the 10, scratch the 13. Please note the 14 will get into the race and run this afternoon. And Katie and I both went with the horse for Total Evil. Let's go back and look at this horse's last race. I think he's the one to beat in a nightcap off this.
Absolutely. I was really a little bit surprised and very, very impressed with his turf debut. Gonna finish second, only beaten a nose. He is the one. I really thought he was done at this point, and he comes on. I really does. I love the effort. He's gonna get blinkers added, which I think is really gonna help him in this spot after he had to rally from off the pace. I mean, narrowly beaten there, and he gets a much better post. So I think he is the horse to beat here.
Yeah, no, horse that was in that race that we were just showing was the number 7, and that's Faubourg Marginy. And this one is renewing the rivalry with Totally Evil. At a mile, as I mentioned, after disputing the pace and yielding late, he finished 5th, but he was only a length and 3/4 behind him last time out, going 7.5 furlongs. He was cooked in that duel, so maybe if they can rate this horse off, I think he maybe can grab a share of the exactor or trifecta ticket. And both of us, number 12, Justice for All, on the ticket. I thought I was going to be the only one that finds this one, and I saw that our handicapping mate Pete had it on the ticket, you have it on the ticket, and I have it on the ticket.
Great minds think alike, Ron.
Uh-oh.
It is a little bit of taking a chance going to the outside here. That's why I really like Totally Evil more with that 4-post here. Has to break from post 12 in his career debut, but he debuts in a favorable spot for David Fox. Has a stamina-enhancing 8 breeze work pattern. The sire, Patio Prado, he's 11% with his turf routers. He's out of an unraced Capote mare. All 4 siblings are winners. 3 of them multiple winners, but there are no turf winners.
Yeah, he's a half-brother to a 4-time turf winner, I thought, in there, called Glamour and Glory. Maybe I had it wrong in there, and it makes his career debut for David Fox. So we'll go back, and we can check that out. That I think is a half-brother to Glamour and Glory, but I could have looked at the wrong horse. We'll check that and let you know when we come back in here. So what else did you use on the ticket?
Bay Point Count, this one making his 3rd start for trainer Steve Town today. Got caught up in an early duel, faded to 6th against $50,000 maiden claimers. That was here on October 14th. I thought he should appreciate the class relief in this spot. And he was 4th in his career debut at that $50,000 level when turf sprinting 5/8. Also really like second-time Lasix.
Well, that's how we see the Friday card. A lot of fun today, and we got the Breeders' Cup races a little later on. I know Katie's not even going to be talking to me when those races are on, that's for sure. She'll be too busy watching them. She's a big fan of the Breeders' Cup. Who isn't?
Get a little bit focused in the zone here, but don't bother me when the Breeders' Cup is on.
No, she already told me before. She warned me. She said, do not bother me when the Breeders' Cup races are on, either today or tomorrow. So we're not going to even come near her when that's happening. But we have a fun card today. And as I mentioned, we got a special post tomorrow at 11:55, and we have 2 fantastic races on the grass, stakes races on the grass for 3-year-olds, one for the Colts and one for the Fillies. And it's going to be a really nice card tomorrow, along with all the Breeders' Cup races.
Yeah, that's the Showing Up and the Seller Shiraz. Really fun races, great betting races. There are a lot of horses in with a shot, and we're seeing a lot of great trainers coming back to South Florida with horses. We've got Bill Mott, Christophe Clement, Mike Maker, Todd Fletcher. It's going to be a really fun day.
Good luck, everybody.